Good morning, everyone. It's Maiden. Hi. It is January 4th, 11:30. I'm getting started kind of late, but I wanted to do this video having to do with our Golden Globes coming up and what all that is in my world of forensics. Okay, so I want to bring forward some here at Santa Fe Loft, and it looks like about a 50-degree day today. Want to do a shout out to CBS News this morning. Great coverage, and thank you to everyone on the field staff who is in the snow over there on the East Coast covering this storm, because the storm happens to be focused on the Delaware plat map and all therein. So the coastline, the Delaware itself, the ocean around it, it is literally frozen there. So God is getting involved on the Delaware issues. They're very real issues. And I told you before, if you think that I am not very significant and God shows up, he's trying to show you that we're together in this, okay? And we need our Congress and our House and our president to be really filled with faith on both sides for this amazing time of leadership, okay? So shout out to Nora. Thank you so much for just showing up and being there and being your wonderful self in journalism. To our co-anchors that were there this morning as well, and Jeff Glore, he's on in the evening, Walter Cronkite's slot, so I believe that starts at 5:30, and CBS, you're doing a great job. I've been looking into the ownership of CBS and ABC and NBC, and I want to do a class on the forensics therein. But meanwhile, we need our journalism staff to be very, very strong. We need you guys to really understand what perpetuity represents in your life, which is your royalty. Okay, so your perspectives are very big. And it's not just a job, it's about who you are inside as a journalist and your own personal values and perspectives that are reflecting America. Okay? And so our president right now, he's having some issues with different people and their perspectives, and he really needs to have a very solid, steady, grounded perspective based on the best interest of America and no ego involved here. It doesn't have, none of us have any place for that right now, okay? All right, so what I'm holding here, if you can see this, it is for New Mexico, state of New Mexico, and you can take a picture of that and then study it later. It's this is our treasurer's office position holdings as of 1/31/17. It's our trade. Somebody up in the top of the New Mexico, state of New Mexico, hierarchy has control of $66 billion, and we are one of the most highest poverty states in the United States of America. This is 66 billion with a B. Okay, now America, you are representing every single state. You are representing America. So our state of New Mexico and my state, my home biological state of California, I want you to listen up real closely, okay, because I have influence with you. Here in New Mexico, we have indigenous tribal nations, 17, plus the Spanish crown, plus the Mexican, Aztec, Mayan crowns, plus the Black African-American crowns, plus the Italian dynasties therein, and Asia. New Mexico had a bunch of Asia people here when Korea war happened and there was concentration camps here. But in New Mexico, tribal indigenous nations that have been born and raised here is the issues. Now, this particular book, To the End of the Earth, okay, this is a book, winner of the Historical Society of New Mexico, Gaspar Perez de Villagra Award, and the Border Regional Library Association Southwest Book Award. Stanley M. Hortis explores the remarkable story of crypto-Jews. Okay, now the Jews, Hitler was out to get these Jews because he was threatened within himself. Okay, they had that Aryan race thing going on, remember? Well, the Jews, before God, Jesus Christ was a Jew. Okay, so we're never, ever, 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 ever gonna separate Jesus Christ from being Jewish. And he is biologically in the Jewish lineage. So it is never in anyone's best interest to hurt anyone who's Jewish, okay? Because you're fighting God, and God is bigger than all things. All right, so this book is a book of the study of those people and the abuse and reproaches that they went through to make it here, and the crown, the royalty that has been evidenced in their bloodlines. So the back of this book literally has a names list, okay? And it's a bunch of the families that I know here over the last 35 years. We've got A through Z. Everyone is in here. And after, I'm going to do names. I'm going to do a video literally and read every name that's listed here in this book. Okay? Now, why did I say that? Because I was going to talk about the Golden Globes, and this does have relevancy. So hang on if you're with the Golden Globe Club. Okay, so the New Mexico Constitution that's here does not honor the people. What does this New Mexico Constitution honor? They honor a Santa Fe ring, okay, that goes back to the Cabal. It's literally on the wall of the courts in the municipal court, okay? And the Santa Fe ring, let me go find it, pages 6, 7, 8, 11, and 13. Okay, so we're going to go to page 6. I just want to read you a really short part of it. Now, before I read it to you, I want to say that I have personally sat in the kitchen of one of our governors, or senators rather, here in New Mexico. I'm not going to say his name. It starts with an S, but he's already retired. But while he was still in office, I came over to his house, and I showed him some of my forensic research on the mortgages, just the mortgages. That's the one sector I chose to show him, but this is going on in every single sector, okay? And it's a parallel universe already, you know, it's been going on, and reality, and I brought him basically into the both of them together, working together. Then I showed him my research to bring us back to the Santa Fe ring. We're in his kitchen, and he's at his kitchen table, and he literally just pushes himself back away from the table. And he just sits there, and he's thinking very, very hard about what to say next. He's ready to retire. He's been in office for over 30 years. One of our most prestigious New Mexico senators, and his beautiful wife, amazing, amazing guy. Okay, so what is going on with him? Okay, he is face to face with a knot, a nebulous knot, literally like a knot of yarn. You've got a big knot, the world's biggest ball of yarn that's a knot, okay? He's looking at this in his mind. He's coming, you know, I'm showing him the Santa Fe ring. I got another book I showed in the research with him in his kitchen. And I'm like, so I want to know what you feel about us, you know, just doing an alternative, you know, let's do this. Let's get New Mexico where it needs to be. He basically, you know, told us our meeting is over. And that the rest of this he can't do anything about. It is so complicated and it is such a mess that he can't do anything about it. Okay, so it has to be a collective effort. Our senators who are locked into states just like mine that have, I mean, I know this is a good man, okay? I'm not saying he's perfect, but I know he's a very good man, okay? So, in the process of managing $66 billion, okay, we have corruption at the highest levels, all right? Okay, so what I want to do, and as Maiden of Santa Fe, over 35 years here, but I am for everyone in the United States, is I would like a special appointment by the courts, acknowledged by our courts, our Supreme Courts all over New Mexico. I would like to be acknowledged in all Supreme Courts, all lower courts, all the way up to the highest Supreme Courts, and be able to come in and speak on behalf of the people to establish these portfolios of freedom. Okay, so why does this, what does this have to do with our Golden Globes? I'm a California girl. I was born in California, and I'm biologically from California. Okay, hold on. Hi, sweetie pie. Hi.
I took care of the mom.
You took care of what?
The mom of my company.
Oh, good. Did you keep it? Okay. We need to go to the Secretary of State and find out what the alternatives are to keep the corporation open.
Yeah, no, they didn't cancel me for any other reason than just expired.
Okay.
So they're fine with it. They didn't mention it or anything like that. So.
Okay.
So
I gotta go.
$250 for 3 years.
Oh, okay.
Which is good.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay,
I love you. Bye-bye.
bye.
Okay, bye-bye. All right. So, sorry, guys. Okay. Steve and James were in this Allstate case because this goes back to everything. This all is in a big loop. It all is relative to each other. So this issue, $66 billion of management of fees over New Mexico, is the fiduciary accounts of the people. Okay, so it goes back to people. Okay, the New Mexico State Constitution is a domestic management constitution, or it should be, right? Right? That's what our Constitution, our democracy is about, domestic management, okay? That's what this is about for people. Okay, so the money's for the people, Constitution's for the people, here's the people, but the people don't get honored. Okay, we are a mess here in New Mexico as far as really honoring the people. Now, Stephen James Valdez and his family and all therein, 236 members represented, probably more in this book. Okay, his mother is of the Vicar of Spain, the royalty of Spain, proven. She's gotten an illness that is only found in the royalty Jews, okay, that were a lineage of the royalty that Queen Isabella was trying to kill them, okay? And they got to go and they got refuge here in New Mexico, which became the New Spain. And it's all they're in. It's the Royal Road, okay? And when it was established in the beginning, the very beginning, this was a refuge for the royalty of Spain, okay? The royalty that was wrapped up in these crypto Jews. Okay, so if they go, well, this is a cryptocurrency, and this is a crypto Jew, okay, when I just tell you these algorithms are really messed up because they're putting us on the same playing field, and we are not on anybody's playing field in reality. In reality, the value is so high on the human life. Now, in our Constitution, and I can find you exactly which part of the Constitution, it says in there that we are not allowed to, in America, assign a royalty We're not allowed to give out royal noble titles. Why? Why is that an issue? Why would we be afraid of human lives becoming royal? Okay? Well, if you're in the society that we're in, this is a slave system. Now let's go back to that real fast, okay? Because we have a little thing here that God gave me. All right, so there's a covenant. Okay, I'm going to read this to you. All right, this is my Bible, remember? Teacher's Bible, okay, 1800s. All right, covenant. What covenant did God make with Abraham? He says, I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee and make thy name great. God's words, great. Okay, this is God's words. All I'm doing is reading this to you, okay, and emphasizing the power therein. So this book right here is every human life's bond. Where is it bond? Okay, right here. Every human life has a surety bond. Right. I just had it. Surety bond. Okay, Stephen James, that was who just called. Okay, he said, did you hear what he said? If you rewind the thing, he said, my bond, I renewed my bond. It's a surety bond. So our society has created this without this. Okay, so our society has put everything that's in here into a society of corruption and exploitation. They never did tell you that all those great ideas about surety bonds is right here. And the original surety bond is right here, sweetie pie. And your name, every single name on earth, that is born of the original born of a human life to human life, born here. Okay, this is your surety bond of royalty, of sovereignty, of the highest, everything about you. Okay? All right, so I'm reading this to you. Now again, this is the Teacher's Bible. And this is a sacred album for every home. This is the testimony. So this is you hold this up in court as the actual affidavit of truth, okay? If you know your court, right? And in this, John A. Dixon Publishing Company. This is in Connect Dixon, same perpetuity. You know who I'm talking to, CBS. Okay, so we have here in a 1900s copyright, right? 1900s copyright. Okay, all right. So my point is, it says, what covenant did God make with Abraham? And I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and make thy name great, and be thou a blessing. And I will bless them that bless thee, and that curseth thee I will curse. And in thee shall all families of the earth, hello, be blessed. Genesis 12, 2,3. Number 2. Is this covenant available to all who accept its conditions? Keyword, for to you is the promise, and to your children, and to all that are afar off, even as many as the Lord our God shall call unto him. New Testament, Acts 2, verse 39. Okay? No one is left out in God's plan, guys. But what's happened is the Bible, the way the Bible has been preached, has nothing to do with math, has nothing to do with quantum, has nothing to do with the amazing depths of God. Well, yes, it does. It has everything to do with it. But when you go to church and you hear the message of the church, you're a sinner. You're a sinner, you're a sinner, you're a sinner. Did you know you're a sinner? Did I tell you you're a sinner? Oh, yeah, you're a sinner. Okay, and now you need to get saved, which is the truth. We all need to be saved. But the real reason why we all need to be saved is more than that we have been sinning. Because if you look into the dialogue about sin, Jesus doesn't refer to us as sinners. He refers to us as co-heirs, as family, as friends. And the church can get very claustrophobic. And that's why when people ask me, what church do you go to? I have been over 35 years been a Christian. And I'm telling you, God's place for me is to bring the presence of God with me to wherever I go and be the leadership of clarity and of understanding, wisdom, and clarity of the true value of the congregations therein. And to set up brand new systems of reciprocity that have never really had that revelatory application that it has deserved since 2017 years ago when Jesus said, "It is done. Everything's done. I just did it. Last breath he took. It is finished. It is done. I did it." And he went and he got the keys to sin and death. And here we are today. And any poverty that you see around you is the evidence that I'm telling you is true. This has not been correctly preached. And I need to do that. But I have been called to be a lady. And I cannot come forward until I've been given my own place to be. Okay, now here in Santa Fe, New Mexico, right next to this property where I am, like the stone's throw, I literally can probably, just a crow's fly from here. Okay, as far as the crow flies is right there. It's Freedom's Church. Freedom Church in Santa Fe, New Mexico was built by over 300 people that I was part of as a family, a Christian family, that we all walked out onto that here in Santa Fe, and many people that are here in Santa Fe on my Facebook are my Christian family, okay? And they remember with me going out as families after church on Sunday. We were at the other building on Cerrillos Road, the Potter's House, with Pastor Houghton as our pastor and Margaret. And we went and found Stephen's dad, my husband's father, John Valdez, found the property here on Santa Fe, right here, a crow's fly from here. And he picked out the property. He brought the whole church over there. And our pastor said, let's pray that God will give us this property. At the front of the property on Cerrillos Road was Casa Margaritas. In there was my good friend Margaret. Her mother is Margarita, and she owned that restaurant. And she sold that property to our church. And how we financed that was with bonds, church bonds. So our Pastor Hank Houghton, knew exactly what he was doing and leveraging everyone's life to bring forward the money, okay? The only thing is he never ever was completely honest with everyone about that structure. Nobody even knew what he was talking about. They just trusted him and gave him the money. So we all made pledges, okay? We all made pledges. We all signed off, all just kind of like sheep, just following, okay? But it didn't teach anyone anything, and none of us have that building now. That building is our building. It's still our building. And the title to that building is with a couple by the name of Kathy and Bill Barnett, who were my fruit. I prayed for Kathy Barnett to bring her into the church. And her husband, Bill Barnett, and another one of our friends, Elsie Pecos, of the original Pecos Native American tribal nation of Cochiti. And that was literally an Indian queen, okay, witnessing to Bill. This is how precious this couple is before God. They're my fruit, but I've been shut out. I've been shut out of that church. I've been shut out of my investment, just like all my other brothers and sisters, over 300 of them. And we could put a list together, no problem. Okay, but some of those names of those people are in this book. This book I just showed you, okay, right here, okay? They are royalty. So it was a very, very huge, and still is on paper, exploitation. Big time exploitation. God says right here, who is authority? Who has authority? We have authority. If we walk in tandem with God, and on his agenda, which should be out of this book, And that's what I've been trying to tell you guys. In the leadership of America, because it starts all the way to the top in Washington, we are not connected to our Constitution, guys. We're connected to this Bible, for sure. We are not connected to our United States Constitution. Why? Because the leadership did a corporation. And no president up to now has gotten us back in direct perpetuity with our Constitution. Because every other president before now has separated us from our Constitution so that they would have the wealth therein. Okay? Because the wealth is in our Constitution, secondary to the primary of our wealth being this, our surety bond. This is our wealth, our Bible. Okay. So, I'm just saying, Mr. President, I want my church back. It's called the Freedom Church. It's right over here. We have a lot of our 300 who were original investors in that church floundering in their faith today, who don't have a church, who don't trust anyone, who have broken down in their faith, fractured their faith, hurt their faith, knocked the wind out of their faith by taking away or kicking them out of their own church, okay, which I am one of, all right? Nobody had the right to do that. And the only thing that is keeping these people from suing and turning this into a big-time division is that this Bible says, do not sue the beloved. Okay? So we have to take the high road and walk away. And there's no church. There's no church. We have different other families of churches here. We go visit and say hi, we love you, hug on their neck, let them know we love them and stuff. And we do have a church, Ron, Sebesta, and Nina at the Light of Mission Viejo. But then, even then, their investments are undermined. Okay? And I just want to say that God wants to clean this up. And there's great wealth, enough for everyone, making this $66 billion look like child's play because the wealth is so much deeper than this that they are not disclosing. Okay, so now we're going to segue back to the sector of Hollywood, Golden Globes, all of that, because it's all related. Now, what's the first thing that happens when you get discovered, quote unquote? Okay, a major market approaches you. Hi, we're such and such agency. We heard about you. We saw your pictures. We heard your demo tape. We're interested in you. Why don't you come and let's do an appointment? So you go down, you get dressed up, you make the phone call, you go over, and you're sitting in front of a desk now of a person. Hello. Of a person that is going to represent you in the motion picture field. Okay. Now, when you get there, where are we? You're going to have a myriad of stories. Okay? You're going to have a myriad of experiences. And then, what is the common denominator of all of these? They capture your name. They capture your perpetuity. You go under contract, you have just given them your access to attach to you in your secondary perpetuity that you have absolutely no idea how deep those roots go, okay? But these guys do, okay? These guys do. And so what has happened to our motion picture, television motion picture industry, also known as Hollywood, da-da. We have some roots here, okay? Miranda, he's doing the Hamilton, right? Alexander Hamilton. Let's talk about that. By Miranda, wrapping his arms around creating a new play, a Broadway play, okay? Specific jurisdiction. All right, where does it go in? Starts in literacy. Starts in our literacy, okay? Because you have to write the story, All right, so going back into our history, chronological history of asset portfolios, where does Hollywood begin? Hollywood begins with writing, begins with writers. It begins with the story. It begins with telling the story, okay? And that historically goes back to the books of what? The Bible. The Bible is a book, written book. This is a written book, right? Okay, because we're doing forensic perpetuity, right? We're linking to what has the rooted value, right? So the reason why the books have been confiscated, because if you notice, there's not as many bookstores, okay? They're trying to get everything digitized. So you get your hands off of the intrinsic. Now, in Hollywood, what is the intrinsic? In Hollywood, the intrinsic is first the story, the written story, number one. Number two, the inventory is the people and the management of the people. Okay, the management of the people is by the studios, the big studios, historically, and just a few people, like this person. This is Shamil. Shamil is Shamil Shvig. Shamil Shvig. That sounds like Hitler to me. Hitler was Jewish. You talk about a conflict. Okay, so here we have a major sector coming out of control of the Nazi Hitler episodes. We're killing 6 million Jews, and now we've got a Jewish guy at the top, but he's not representing the Jews. He's representing exploitation versus illiteracy. So what they've done is they've taken the dream, okay? They've taken